So what's next for you? What do you got coming up?
Well, I'm currently on the road doing my own shows, my own little tour back in the clubs from which it all started, the improvs and the funny bones and things like that. The Luenell, fresh out of favors. Fresh out of favors.
That's the name of your show?
The motherfucking right.
Fresh out of favors.
I'm fresh out.
What kind of favors were you giving to people before?
I've done a lot. I've done as much for people as people have done for me. Let's say that.
Okay.
People did me a lot of favors, and I did a lot of favors back. I've paid back everybody that I owe money to. I've paid for funeral stuff and graduation stuff and all kinds of things, trips and loans and that ain't really loans, and all kinds of things. And I just, basically though, what I'm talking about when I say that is the free ticket hookup thing. I've been giving out free tickets for 30 motherfucking years. And if you've been following me this long, you're not at a point where you can support with a punk bitch ass $40 ticket, then don't come. Because I don't need to be giving out, I'll give out free, matter of fact, don't ask me. I'll get free tickets and put you on guest list for the people that I want. They'll be like, hey, you be my guest. I just had Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mother, come to my show last week. You think I made her buy a ticket? Of course not. I still have the power to give people tickets, but don't be asking me something. Motherfuckers would be like, Luenell, can I get like me plus 8? No. As a matter of fact, 8. You can't. Yeah, shit like that. So just don't ask me for free shit no more because my tickets are not... Hell, if you can go see Beyonce, which is easily a mortgage payment, you can take a 10th of that and come see me if you want to see me. So heyluenell.com is my website. People can go on there and get my tour dates and stuff like that. I'm also still actively working on developing some shows that... we're trying to sell. We're constantly doing that. I won't get discouraged until I pass Chappelle's record of he shot 13 pilots before the Chappelle show got picked up. So I haven't shot 13 yet. So we just keep shooting and trying to sell and stuff like this. And trying to be the next black woman in late night. Oh. That is my goal. 11 o'clock. Somebody need to break up this onslaught of white snowfall men that's falling through white man after white man after white man after white man. And they got 2 white men named Jimmy. So I know they need somebody else in late night, and that could be me. And one of them is my friend. Hi, Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, I'm just saying, Well,
I'm going to leave you with this, and this is sort of a cautionary tale. And as someone that, has dabbled in drugs in the past, I think that you might relate to this a little bit. Maybe about 10 years ago, during World Star's heyday, there was a model named Cubana Lust. Very pretty girl, Spanish girl, nice figure. I'd met her once before, very pretty in person. This was her back then.
Okay, beautiful.
Beautiful girl, right?
Yeah.
She was recently arrested, and her mugshot appeared. This is what she looks like now.
Yeah, well, Rick James said it, cocaine hell of a drug. And that meth, and that heroin, and all that street shit.
Yeah. I remember...
fentanyl and all that.
Yeah, I remember... as we were posting the story and I was kind of looking for pictures of her and so forth and kind of digging into the story a little bit, DJ K-Slay, rest in peace, he had featured her in his magazine, Straight Stuntin', a couple of times. And I remember there was these posts. There was one in like 2017, another one in like 2019, where he has a picture with her. And he's like, does anyone know what happened to her? We haven't seen her in years. And there's like an old picture of them like hanging out together. And it's like no one really knew what happened to her. And suddenly this came out. And it's like, oh, shit. And I remember there's a guy from Florida who actually DM'd me. And he was like, he sent me a picture of her as well. He was like, yeah, she lives in my neighborhood. And she's she's panhandling and she's like homeless and so forth. But it's like, it's crazy the transformation that drugs does on people. It's just
remember
like
Maya
stunning.
Campbell? Remember Maya?
Yes. This reminds me of that. Now, you yourself were addicted at one point.
I was using.
You were never addicted.
Yeah, I was addicted.
Okay.
I guess, but I was using, but I was one of them functional users.
You were a functional addict, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you using until you said, that's it, I'm done?
Oh, probably about I've been saying 8 years, but it was like them mid to late 80s, early 90s when like the Coke was really, pure back then, and the disco lights was flashing and everybody was having a good time until the freebase era came along. Then when that came along, that's what really changed the game. And I was in Oakland, California at that time, and everybody was smoking dope, from the school teachers to the bus drivers to the people at the post office to the people at the grocery store to your mailman, everybody. It was a epidemic.
Did you see the type of transformations I just showed you?
Yeah.
So this is commonplace, living that type of life.
Well, it wasn't for me, because I was still doing shows and stuff like that. That was the problem. I had a lot of money, and not everybody was up late at night when, I get off work and want to kick it. So I put you into the drug crowd. But that can happen. I think, that happens. Yeah. Look at Kensington Park in Philadelphia. Jesus Christ.
Who is this?
Do you know about Kensington Park?
No, what's that?
Pull it up.
Kensington
Park in Philadelphia. It's just worse than The Wire.
Yeah, swimmers assault staff, vandalize cars in Kensington Park.
Do you see the people, though? Do you see any people laying on the street? There's kids that got to walk by that shit to go to school.
Yeah.
That's within view of people's homes and stuff.
Well, downtown LA is like that.
Sure is.
Well, remember there was that video of the kids trying to get to class and having to go through people shooting up and everything else like that?
And in San Francisco, too, in the
San
Tenderloin,
Francisco,
too.
Hollywood. I remember when we first moved to LA in 2013, I remember I lived at Sunset Vine, the Sunset Vine Tower, right? It's a high rise right there on Sunset Vine.
Yeah, okay.
And at first it was cool, but I remember it got to the point where there was a tent in front of our building that was so big that you had to walk into the street to walk around it. To go to the parking lot, you had to walk into the actual street to get around this tent. And I remember, and I was just like, okay, I'm spending way too much money here to have to deal with this literally in front of my front door. So at that point, that's when we moved to Calabasas. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. But it was it was sad. And honestly, I don't feel, to be totally honest, and I've talked to people who have lived in this type of lifestyle and grown up in these, rough upbringings, and they've always said the same thing. It's not a homeless problem, it's a drug problem.
And a mental problem. Yeah. It's the drugs for sure, which brings on more mental problems if you had them before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's sad. And like I said, this Cubana Lust thing, because I've actually met her. I remember getting into a conversation with her around 2010. It was hanging out with Casely, I think. Yeah. Up in Sue's Rendezvous.
It's something, because all those people down there, they came from somebody's family.
Yeah.
And what did you do so bad that the family won't fuck with you no more? Or are you turning them away? Everybody has some family somewhere.
Yeah, but when I've learned when dealing with people that once they get on drugs, there's really not a whole lot you could do anymore.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
person,
double both them doors.
Yeah. Yeah. Once, and I've dealt with people that they'd either been on drugs, I didn't know it, or they got on drugs during the relationship. I can't really tell, but when you start to notice the signs and their behavior, you can't, unless you want to send the person to rehab and really spend all your
And
time.
that don't always stick.
That doesn't always stick. Yeah. I know people have been in and out of rehab their whole lives. I got family members like that, in and out of rehab their whole lives, like literally. In their 50s, still going to fucking rehab. Like, the fuck?
I can tell you're not fond of that merry-go-round.
No, it's ridiculous. Like, yo, like, you're in your 50s now. You have no teeth. Like at the end of the day, it's just like, at some point,
they just done gave up.
They just got to give up.
They done gave up, and you got to give up too.
And like I said, this picture of Cubana Lust, as someone who, listen, like I remember looking at her pictures, looking at her videos, she was a really attractive girl, really nice figure, pretty face, to looking like, I mean, she barely looks female at this point.
I know.
You don't know what gender she is. She's so far gone. And
but she's not alone. There's so many. Like I watched this, competing YouTube show called Soft White Underbelly. Yeah, and they interview all kinds of fucked up dredges of society and all this. And everybody's got a story, Everybody's got some story. And they just can't deal, won't deal. That's the way they're going to deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Delonte West is in the same boat, pretty much. I mean, he's homeless, panhandling. We were supposed to interview him, and then a video surfaced of him panhandling. He got beat up the day before our interview, and he couldn't make it. And he used to play with LeBron. And in a recent interview, he said he doesn't even remember he plays basketball anymore. It almost seems like another world for him, because he's a street person now.
And why?
Drug addiction, mental illness, combinations. Self-medication, whatever that is. Listen, I've been a weed smoker most of my life, but I've never been the hard drug guy. I've tried ecstasy a couple times. I've done mushrooms. I've tried acid. Never tried cocaine. Never tried heroin. Never shot up. But really, even the harder drugs like ecstasy weren't really for me. It wasn't really my thing. I didn't like the way that it took me out for the whole day afterwards. I had too much shit to do in my life. So,
yeah, and that's why I buy whatever the fuck I want to, because I've blown so much money on bullshit. Now I'm like, well, at least I can see what the fuck I got for,
At least I got to sell it a week later for my addiction.
No, and every time I pawn something, I got my shit back, by the way.
There you go. Luenell, always a pleasure. Congratulations on everything. Congratulations on the tour with Cat Williams. Congratulations on some projects that you and I talked about, which we can't talk about on camera.
Not yet.
Coming up. Yep. Congratulations on your future Netflix special. Like I said, I want to be there when it happens.
For sure.
I want free me plus 8, by the way. I want a me plus 8 pass with free drink tickets as well.
All that. They want all that
shit. That's what it is. Until next time.
All right. Till next time. Peace.